Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. And if you're new here, I'm Jim. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm in On1 Photo Raw 2022, and I'm playing around with some street photos that I took recently here in Austin. And specifically, when I go out and shoot in the streets, like in cities, I tend to do edges of the day. I actually prefer sunrise because there's not really people out, so it's a little bit easier for me to shoot places. And of course, I like that soft light. Kind of the blue hour in the morning is probably about my favorite time. Unless, of course, you get like an amazing sunset or something, but everybody likes that. But I go out and shoot those kind of things. I come back with photos, and often I have quite a few of them, and I want to get through them because these are not, this is not fine art. This is not like a masterpiece. This is just a photo that I just like taking, and I want to edit kind of quickly. So sometimes I'll bring them into On1, and I'm finding them doing some similar things on every photo. So this video is me kind of speed editing, how I approach that in On1, showing you a couple of examples. Here's a photo, as you can see, fairly dark. It's like a tattoo shop with some cool stuff going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit AI Auto and let it brighten that photo, kind of bring it to life. You can see now much better. I like that quite a bit, but the highlights need to come down drastically. I'm good with that. I'm gonna go into transform because I need to keystone this a little bit. I feel like the verticals are slightly off. And this keystone tool is great at that. I'm gonna hit enter. I think that looks better. And so far, I feel like I've got a good shot. I've got a couple things I wanna do. I do like to add a little bit of dynamic contrast to these kind of photos. Again, it's a city scene. I mean, it's a tattoo shop with some neon. I feel like it needs a little bit of grit. I think dynamic contrast is good at adding that. So I just apply that across the entire photo. Now, another thing I like to do is really bring a little bit of light to the center of these images. And for me, the easiest way to do that is go into Tone Enhancer. And I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna increase the exposure just a little bit. So like that's a 0.4, but of course I don't want it across the entire photo. So I'm gonna hit M to bring up the masking bug. And you've got this vignette option. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that right here. And you'll notice what it's doing, it's actually brightening the outside because I need to go invert this mask. So invert, and now I've got a little bit brighter center, which I like. So if I show you the before and the after, a little bit more light there. I actually think I'm gonna tone that down just a little bit. So instead of a 0.4, maybe I'll do a 0.3. And before and after, I think that looks good. And then usually I'll just wrap it up with a little bit of a vignette. I tend to use the big softy quite a bit. I like it in these kind of edges of the day where it creates a little bit stronger look, but sometimes I'll bring the opacity down so it's not quite as intense. So I might bring that down by about half or so. And so it's a big softy vignette, but reduced opacity. So the before vignette look and the after vignette look, and that's my photo. That's really what I do. It's quick and dirty, so to speak, quick and easy. And it allowed me though to take a photo that looked like that and turn it into that, taking advantage of AI Auto, some easy masking, and some basic adjustments. Let me show you this on one more example. Okay, here's another photo from the same street. This is by the campus here in Austin, University of Texas. Anyway, I'm gonna do a similar thing. I'm gonna click AI Auto. It does a great job of bringing that up. But once again, I tend to manage the highlights a little bit more. I'm gonna bring up the midtones, maybe the shadows a little bit, and some of those yellows I don't really like. And so I like to adjust tint to kind of get away from that yellowy, which is a little bit green, get more toward the magenta, maybe make it a little bit cooler, just some basic stuff, just simple and straightforward. And you know what? I like what I got. So I don't need to do any keystoning here. I think the verticals all look pretty fine. I'm gonna go into effects, once again, dynamic contrast, just to give it a little bit of that grit. And if you wanted to, you could apply this with a mask quickly and easily, but I'm just gonna apply this across the entire photo. I'm gonna go back and get Tone Enhancer once again because I like doing that little bit of light pop in the center of my image, especially on a street like that. I'm gonna hit M to get into the masking. I've got vignette selected, so I'm gonna put that down in here. And notice when you're in a portrait orientation, it orients the vignette for you. So I'm gonna do something, not the vignette, the radial mask. They call it vignette, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. So I'm gonna orient that somewhere about like that, and then once again come in and invert it so that I can get the light inside the vignette and leave it kind of darker outside. So there it is before, and there it is now slightly brighter. And you can always come in and further refine this if you would like to. I think maybe a little bit like that looks good. And same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with the vignette. So I'm gonna do that, click on Big Softy, pull that opacity down. I don't think I'm gonna drop it as much. I'll go about 70 here. Definitely like the darker edges, but that's an edit, my friends. There it is before, and there it is now. A few simple tools using AI Auto with maybe a few refinements to highlights and shadows, and perhaps temperature or tint, just to get it looking the way you want it to look. Then I'm using dynamic contrast across the entire photo. Some tone enhancer applied with a radial mask just to focus and bring a little bit of light and draw the viewer's attention into whatever part of the photo it is. For me, it's pretty much usually the center. And then a Big Softy vignette, reduced opacity, because I don't want really dark edges, but I want to darken them a little bit, and that plays off of what I did to brighten the center. So it creates a little bit more intensity around the vignette because I brighten the center and darken the edge. Quick, powerful, easy to do, and you can get some, I think, nice looking results. There's my base photo, and there's my edited photo, and neither one of these takes very long. These are just quick, simple, powerful moves that allow me to kind of speed edit my street photos. And to be clear, I'm not saying you have to hurry through your editing. It's totally fine to take your time. If you spend 10, 20, 30 minutes, an hour on a photo, that's your choice. I just, sometimes when I come back from shooting, I like to kind of burn through, edit a bunch of these, maybe edit 20 or 30 of these in just a few minutes. And it's easy to do in On1 with these powerful tools. That's how I approach it. Hope it gives you some ideas. Thanks for watching, my friends. I'll be back soon with more On1 videos. Thumbs up if you like it. I'll see you next time, guys. Take care and adios.